Well, welcome back to another video. Finally, we're getting a weekend outside, and it's a good job because we've got loads to do. So we're going to spend most of the day in the veg plot today, because since we harvested the strawberries and the beans a couple of weeks ago, everything's exploded and there's loads to be harvested to be getting on with processing tomorrow. But we've got a few jobs with the animals to do first. We've got to feed the lambs, we've got to treat them with some preventative stuff for the fly strike, and then we're going to head to the field to sort Dexter out. A few people have mentioned in the comments about putting a brush head up on a post so you can use it as a scratching post to help him with the flies. So we're going to take that advice and we're going to do that today as well, which should only take 5 or 10 minutes, feeding the animals, and then we'll get in the veg plot.
So I've got the lamb's bottles, which I'll put in that feeder that Stephen created, and he's just walking around basically crowvet them while they're feeding. Just makes it a lot easier.
Do like a line on the back and across the back end, just keeps the flies off the where the mucky parts are when they get a bit of a mucky bum. So now we're going to do the big sheep. What's left? I think we're running out, so we'll just get what we can on them. But they've been sheared anyway, so they should be all right for a while. I don't know how we're going to get them though. Hey, Carol.
I said crowvet. It's actually click, even though it's in a crowvet bottle. Don't ask.
Get some food for them. Right, the pigs are just getting the compound feed this morning, but hopefully with tonight's tea, when we're in the garden all day, they'll get a mixture of some nice fruit and veg. Right, come on.
Right, race ya. This is where you lose your ankles if you're not quick enough.
Right, well that's them fed. I think the plan for tomorrow is we're going to open up this section for them. So Tracy's a bit worried that every time they come down they're pushing against this and they're starting to climb it. So I think what I'll do is I'll just undo this pallet, slide it over here to block them from getting to this, and screw it in, and then that'll open that area up and solve 2 problems in 1. So that's the plan, but we'll do that tomorrow for them. We won't do it today. We'll let them have another day in here first. Right, the pigs have been fed, Sonic and Dexter have been watered, so now we're just going to put his scratching post up. We're going to put it on this big old solid original fence post, and when he rubs himself against it, hopefully it won't go anywhere. So we'll put his feet down over here, put it next to that, hopefully he'll see it and use it. Right, there's that up, nice and solid. Hopefully he'll find it and give him some relief.
Leave his bucket underneath. I think that's the best we can do, put his feed bucket next to the scratching post and just hope that he finds a use for it. I know we've been talking about doing it for a while. He's never used one before, so he doesn't kind of know visually what it is, but hopefully as soon as he feels relief from using it, then he'll be well into it. It's a really warm day again today, despite it might look quite grey on the camera, but it's really, really warm. So I'm pleased that it's quite windy, even though it's been windy for absolutely ages, because it'll give us a bit of respite working in the veg plot.
Right, just before we get into the veg plot, just thought I'd give you a bit of an animal update. So our 3 ducklings, it looks like they're all females. Normally by this point you'd get a curly tail feather if they were males. So these look like they're all females, so they were going to go in the freezer, but that's just saved them all. So we're going to run them with the other flock, but we have got a plan. So I'll just take you on the other side of this pen here and show you what our plan is. Right, so we're currently at the back of the barn where the ducklings are at the minute, behind this door. We did open it up for them, but they just don't seem to want to come out. So this area here has been resting now for a couple of months, and it's all grew back, which is great because it was just scratched the hell off the chickens. So what our plan is, we're going to gather the rest of the ducks up, walk them round, add these ones to the flock, and we're just going to put them in that building there for a few weeks just to try and collect the eggs, because at the minute the magpies are stealing all the eggs and we need to gather up a nice bunch of eggs to get in the incubator to replenish the flock, which we're not getting at the minute. So that's the plan. So we need to get that as soon as possible because we need them ducklings out of there, because we've got another plan for that pen. The final animal check-in for this video is our Roscob's meat birds. They're coming along fantastic. They're off the heat now. They've been off the heat for about a week. They're about 4 weeks old. They're putting some size on great. So our next plan for these is when we've got the ducks moved from where they're going to come from, these are going to go over there so they can get some nice bit of grass and a nice bit of sun. So hopefully we'll get round to that during the week and then they'll be outside. Looking good.
I don't know about looking good. Poor thing.
They're starting to feather up.
Ugly ducklings, aren't they?
There you go, back with your brood. Right, so that's all them sorted, all done. Now we're going to get some cooler clothes on and get in the veg pot because it's getting hot. Oh, look at them. Right, just finishing off a second draw of this bed. We've already had 2 big balls out of it like that, so we've got another ball for us, another ball a bit squishier ones for the pigs, but I'm sure they won't mind. I'm just going to finish off this back corner here, probably top that up, and then go and give Tracy a hand podding them beans.
See how many spikes you have by the end.
Yeah, no, in fact,
Right, we've just left Grace harvesting the gooseberries while we take Maggie back in the shade and pod them beans. So just thought, quick call for the pigs, give them a light snack after the breakfast. I'm sure they'll appreciate them.
I would appreciate some of those.
They're a bit mushy.
Oh man, look at them. Lucky pigs.
See what you make of these. Come on. Here, pig. You need to learn to eat with the mouth closed.
Well, I tell you something, those pigs love those strawberries. I just hope they're not expecting them every single day. We headed back up to the veg plot. Grace had finished getting in all of the gooseberries, or at least all of the ones that we were harvesting on that day, and we set about getting everything else, red currants, black currants, you name it, we harvested it and grabbed some food so that we could have a meal as well. Want to come out?
It's orange.
Yeah. This one is, what's the, hang on. This one is the Burpees Golden and put in at the end of March, direct zone. So we'll have a couple of these out. That one can go to the pigs. For the bloomin' mice gets them. Tell you what, we'll have these out. Happy days. Hello, ladies.
You're too old for this. Climb inside this box. Right. So I'll get these little girls. Right. Beautiful. This one. Enough?
Yeah.
Well, what a harvest. There's a good 4 hours spent there in the garden. Look forward to this time every year where everything comes together and we get our first bumper harvest. So we're not bothered how long we spend in there. So I'll just give you a quick run through what we've got done. Grace stripped most of the gooseberry trees there, got a massive, don't know how much is in there, maybe 5 kilos of gooseberries. Got another big massive bowl of strawberries to add with the rest that's in the freezer. Big bowl of red currants, black currants. We've got the broad beans there all potted, ready to go into the freezer. We've got a couple of tubs of raspberries. Don't want to put too many on top because they're dead soft and they squash each other, so just split them into two. We've got a big pile of rhubarb. There's any amount of that to go up, but we just cut that off so it's easy to deal with. We've got some beetroot there, which we're going to have for tea tonight. Some eggs, which we're going to hard boil, which we're going to go in salad for tea tonight. And then we just picked these, which is going to our salad tonight. So onions, spring onions, lettuce, gherkins, and some tomatoes.
They're actually the first tomatoes that we've got. First tomatoes of the year.
So there you go. Chuffed to bits. I love seeing it all laid out like this. It makes all the hard work during the winter months worthwhile. So we're going to get all this put back together, and Tracy's going to take over tomorrow and show you what she's going to do with all of it. But I know one thing, some of it's going into gin.
So before preparing our evening meal, I literally put those podded broad beans into a freezer bag, didn't blanch them, 2.1 kilos going into the freezer there, and that took care of them straight away. So to some pork mince, I've added spices, some ground up oats and an egg, and just did that with some griddled beetroot and a couple of slices of cheese. It was an absolutely delicious meal. Really, really enjoyed that. And then it was time to get on with the preserving. So first up, I was making small barbecue sauce. You guys have heard me talk about this before. I took this recipe from the Ball Blue Book of Preserving. It uses rhubarb to make a Victorian rhubarb barbecue sauce, and this year we've blitzed it and it is absolutely delicious. But what I wanted to do was try it with half rhubarb and half gooseberries, and I am chuffed to bits to report back that that worked. It was absolutely delicious. While I got on with that, Stephen made some raspberry gin, just literally raspberries, sugar and gin, and then he sat and topped and tailed a load of the gooseberries for me. The only reason that I top and tail them is when I'm using them in a jam. If I'm making jelly, I don't bother. I also managed to get some broccoli harvested from the garden. This was blanched and put in the freezer. I am so pleased with this variety of broccoli. Every year it does me well. It's called Stromboli, if anybody's interested. And then another thing that I wanted to get taken care of while we are fully into preserving season is taking out all of those blooming tomatoes from last year. So we are literally just having the first of the tomatoes in this video, and I was thinking consciously the tomatoes are still in the freezer from last year that I was going to get to and cook down. So I've literally taken them out, put them straight into the slow cooker, frozen, as you can see here. Lethal weapon those things are when they're frozen. Whilst that was cooking down in the slow cooker, I got my gooseberry production line set up to make the jelly. So using the gooseberries that were not topped and tailed, I literally cooked those down in some water whilst I was sterilising some jars and keeping an eye on those slow cookers that weren't making a dent at all in the tomatoes by this point. The juice that's left from the stewed gooseberries, once I drained that through a sieve, I literally put the remainder through a muslin cloth. I find it quicker doing it that way, and then set up a very graceful contraption in the sink just so that I captured all of the drips. I use 1 pint of juice to 1 pound of sugar. I always work in pints and pounds when I'm doing this kind of preserving. I've said that before, and I forgot because I put 2 pints and 2 pounds of sugar into this Dutch oven on the Aga, and things got a little bit hairy because I forgot that this one can only take 1 pint and 1 pound at any one time. So you've just got to take your time and put up with it. It can be quite frustrating when you've got quite a lot that you want to get preserved, but I do find that working in the smaller batches always gives a better result and it's less stressful. I've got the gooseberry syrup coming out of my ears, and Stephen even had some on his breakfast this morning. I told him he's not allowed, it's for the winter pantry. I'm only joking, of course he's allowed. So I'm going to tell you how many of these we've got in the end, but whilst I'm getting all of those taken outside, I'm going to be getting the black currants on. We're going to put 4 pounds of black currants and 3 pints of water in a Dutch oven and just leave that simmer for about an hour so that we can follow the same process, strain them, and then a pound of sugar to each pound of juice once it's strained. In kilos, I know slightly awkward switching from pounds to kilos, there's about 4.2 kilos in here, so I'm going to work out how much that is in pounds, and then I'll be able to see how many jars or how much liquid, because I've got varying jar sizes, how much liquid we're going to produce in the end. 3rd pint of water going in, so that's basically going to cover them. So I now know this pan, I think it's a 5.7 litre pan, basically it's pretty much full with black currants and then covered with water. So there's 4 pounds of black currants in there. I'm just going to leave this simmer now, and then once they're all nice and soft, get that strained. For the black currants, I generally do a blackcurrant jelly / syrup. The reason it's a / syrup is because if it doesn't set, it turns into a syrup, and we've found out we actually much prefer it that way because we use it for a variety of things then, rather than just as more of a spreadable sort of jelly. It really does work well for our family. I'm going to get this on, and then I think I will probably put the rest of these back in the freezer because I might do another batch of syrup, and then I may use the remainder to put in some Christmas spirits. I'm not sure just yet. I've got the sugar and the blackcurrant juice both in here, and I wanted to show you what it ended up with when I was trying to bring it up to temperature. Now, the temperature that you're supposed to raise it to, I believe, is 104.5 degrees centigrade for setting point. I always struggle to get it to that unless I use jam sugar. There's just granulated sugar in this. But what I wanted to show you, more importantly for me, is how high these bubbles go from the temperature when it's boiling at a rolling boil, and then how far it reduces when I turn the heat off. Just because if you're a beginner to this and you've not done it before, you might think that you can get away with more than what you can, as I did in the beginning when I put 2 pounds of juice in and 2 pounds of sugar in. Now can you see how far down that has gone? So really please remember, if you're a beginner at this, you do need to leave yourself a lot of space because that has reduced significantly. The other thing that I'm doing with the black currants is just run them through a tea strainer because they tend to get that surface froth, and when you open a jar you might question, is that was that there when I jarred it up, or is it a mould starting? I know Stephen often asks me about that, so I'm really trying to make sure that we take that off this year, and then it just doesn't leave any questions when you open them up for your breakfast. Well, I tell you what, it's been a tough week just getting all of this done. I've been trying to get as much done as I can on an evening because I didn't manage to get to all of it on the Sunday, which was the day after that we harvested. So all I did was used anything that needed using immediately and made sure that I froze the rest so that nothing went to waste. And this is what we've ended up with so far, and we're nowhere near complete for all of the currants or anything like that. Well, we've got 22 jars of the gooseberry jelly, which is absolutely fantastic. There is more inside as well of the ones where there was just a little bit left, etc. From what the 4 pound of black currants that I did this morning, we've yielded 6 300ml jars, and there is another jar inside that's got about 2/3 of it, so that'll be for immediate eating. The strawberries, we did 6 jars of the strawberry jam, so this is the second round of strawberry jam that I've done. That's already starting to be eaten. Same as the barbecue sauce, so I did some rhubarb barbecue sauce and gooseberry barbecue sauce, and one of the gooseberry jars has already gone, and they're making inroads into the rhubarb as well, so it's absolutely fantastic yield. Really pleased with all of that. I just need to hide it now to stop everybody getting into it. What we'll do is in the next videos we're going to keep a tally and show you everything that we've ended up with, but this is what it's looking like so far. There's absolutely tons more to harvest where they came from as well. I've still got all of the white currants to do. There's another couple of gooseberry bushes to get done. Grace got all the purple ones picked, so they're the ones that were completely ripe. We do have a bush that stays green, it doesn't turn purple when it's ripe, so we're going to be getting those as well. More strawberries. Stephen's picked more raspberries during the week. They're going straight into the freezer because there wasn't enough to make anything with. And also you can eat them fresh and everything as well, which is absolutely delicious. The other thing that we've got done, We did manage to get the ducklings moved from the barn. Grace did that for us, so we don't have any footage of that. I'm just going to go around and check on them now, just to make sure that they're integrating okay. We've decided that we think we're going to keep the ducks over where they are still. We were going to move them into the barn because we're not able to get to the, oh, the wind's back. We're not able to get to the eggs quickly enough before the magpies. We were in the field with Dexter the other day, and there's literally tons of duck eggs in the field where they pick them up, however they do it, from the duck shed, and take them down into the field and just eat the contents and obviously leave the shells. So we need to get to them more quickly, but the problem is when we go in and let them out on a morning and then go to work, they haven't laid the eggs by then, lay the eggs, and then the magpies are straight in to get them whilst we're out at work or whatever. So anyway, let's have a little look. Well, they're not in the shed and they've got that big. I don't know if we're going to be able to spot the difference between them. Can you spot the difference? Oh, it must be these three here. Yeah, I think it is. It's nice though, they've obviously just grown up so quickly. Anyway, the idea was, like I said, that we were going to put them in the barn, locked in the pen, with limited access to outside, obviously with water and food and everything, just so we could start gathering up the eggs and then be able to get them in the incubator, because the idea is that we were going to replace this flock this year. But we're really struggling, and I don't want to buy in any different eggs because they're an absolutely fantastic bird. These do really well for us. But yeah, we just need to figure out how to get to those eggs first. But we have decided to leave them out here for now. That might change. We'll wait and see. Stephen's not here at the moment. Unfortunately, he's working today because we've already got round to the next weekend. So we'll be getting started on another video very soon. And what it does mean is that the duck pen is now empty, so that can receive our Roscoe meat birds. I'm going to get whacked off a tree. And so they can get moved into there. It needs cleaned out first because, as with ever with ducks, they are absolutely filthy creatures and have not left the place in a desirable moving in situation. So we need to get those cleaned out before we move the meat birds over. So we might do that on this video, on the next video, we shall see. And the other thing is we decided against moving the pigs just at the moment. The land is so dry, the ground, they're just not making inroads, and I think we might end up topping that a little bit. I'm not sure what we're going to do, but we haven't moved them just yet. So it's, you know, still not raining, still very windy, but it's nice and warm. So all in all, it's turned out to be a really nice summer. It's been a lovely warm spring, very unusual for us here in the northeast of England. But I think that's about it for now. We're going to get started on another video tomorrow, which is Sunday, because we're actually out, believe it or not, tonight. So we're going to go and enjoy some family time tonight and then get started on a new video tomorrow. I'm back. I've just walked past the greenhouse and there's a flipping hedgehog in it. It's running around panicking, so I've rang Grace because clearly she will know what to do in this situation compared to me. It's doing laps, bless it. I'm not going to go over because I'll freak it out even more, so I'm presuming she'll bring a towel. Oh, bless it. I'm going to show you from here. Oh, poor thing, can you see it? It looks like a baby. We need to talk about this as well. There's a whole story about the greenhouse. That's going to come on the next video. Right now I need to rescue this hedgehog. He can walk, he can run. He's doing laps of the place. I didn't want to come in and frighten him.
I know, don't win the ball, please. Not do that.
Oh, is that his head there?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's tiny, he's just a baby. Give him some water. I've just put a little bit on him and cool him down.
Oh my god, he's adorable.
Shall we have you as a pet?
No.
Boring.
I didn't get anything deep because I didn't want him to drown.
Come here. Oh, it's okay. Do you want some of this? Look, you've got to come out. There, look. Water. Oh, he's drinking, look. Oh.
little legs. So we've found out that, well, Grace has been saying they're not supposed to be out during the day, but maybe he didn't expect to be out during the day, and he went in there during the night.
He's probably still with his mum somewhere.
So yeah, so we think that he's just took a wrong turn and got a little bit lost. So we're going to try and either release him, but Grace is saying that he's a little bit too light to be released. He's hiding behind your elbow. Apparently you're only supposed to release them if they're like over 450 grams. And Grace doesn't think he's over that, so we'll probably try and get him into a local sanctuary. But at the minute, he's had his food and he's off. See you, mate.
Bye then.